Hello, everybody. So today, one of the things that I realized, and I spoke with a couple of you guys about, is my link for your for your one-on-one midway call was incorrect. So it was for a consult call, I think for one of them, and like a 2-hour call for another one. But I cannot wait to see you guys and start celebrating you. We're already halfway through, which is crazy. So make sure that you are booking some times, getting in, and we will go over what we talked about before, the just an overview of where you're at with each of the pillars, how you're feeling, if you want some more support, and I want to hear what your goals are for the rest of this year, or at least the rest of the year we're here together. So we're going to set goals through March. I want you to think about those goals. If we want to coach on those goals, I know last week was very helpful thinking about like the way that you guys were showing, like, are thinking about goals in general. And I want to see who wants some coaching first. And remember to start with a win, just like a random win or one that you put on your form, whatever you want. Or I could call on people. That'd be fun. I was like, we could try that. Harmony. I was like,
Let's coach.
yes. I was like,
Let's
I literally
coach.
like we were in sync. I saw your hand going up and I was like, you. It was like the universe. So tell me,
Let's do this.
what is a win for you this past week?
My win. It's a silly win. I finally got coached on struggling getting out of bed for the past 2 months, which is really unusual for me.
Oh,
And I
okay.
already feel so
Great.
much better.
I'm so proud
And so
of
I've
you.
decided for a new morning routine, uh, a new thought practice about waking up. I mean, getting out of bed.
Yes. I'm
So
so
I'm like, why did I wait 2 months to do that? But anyways.
I feel like sometimes brains have thoughts about getting coached. And I was like, I've been there and I'm like, I know literally one of I got and usually when I raise my hand for coaching, I'm like, it's too late. I'm gone. I was like, so I've learned to get better at that. That was June of last year. I like literally like had like a breakdown on the 200K call from like 100 people. Thank God Olivia was there to hold my hand, be like, don't lose it. Don't lose your shit. Keep it together. I was like, great.
Yeah.
So I want to hear what you want some coaching on.
Well, as I was filling up my wins and coming up with 5 wins, I realized I was writing. A colleague of mine told me she wanted to work with me in the new year to start living her life to her full potential because she just saw one of my posts on LinkedIn.
Good.
And I was thinking about I don't even see that as a consultation. So I was like, okay, let's coach on that.
Oh, okay. So it's like, tell me why. Has
Uh
she set up a time to work with you yet or to do a consult?
Yes, actually, she called me back because we colleagues.
Of
So
course she did
she
because she
sent me an
wants you.
invitation through Teams,
Okay.
which usually is like I send the invitation. I was like, oh wow, this is weird. Um, but I'm thinking she thinks she wants to work with me, but I know my colleagues, and she's gonna think it's too expensive. So I'm like, why even bothering doing it?
Okay. Awesome. Too expensive. Not awesome, but I'm like, there we go. I was like, there's your brain
Right.
braining. Totally fine.
Yeah.
Normal. And I
I know
want
how
you,
much she works. She earns more or less. I know, yeah. And so I'm like, she's
yep.
gonna think this is crazy.
How much does she earn?
Oh well, she must earn more than me, or more than 100K per year, probably 125.
Okay. So let's just say 125K. So this woman is like, I earn 125K a year. Colleague.
She's a single mom. She's
Okay.
divorced. She's got her kids 70% of the time. So she just got into a rent control apartment.
Got into a rent controlled apartment. And I was just talking with another client of mine. I think that you've got thoughts about each of these things. I was
Of
like, I think
course.
you got thoughts about like single mom, divorced, rent controlled apartment. And I want to know what your brain is making it mean when you see those.
Well, I feel like I know, like, I don't know, 5 years ago, I would have never done that. And so I'm
Never done
still
coaching.
thinking, yeah, for that price. And I'm thinking she's still at that stage, even though she's like, hey, I want to work with you. And she's very proactive.
Okay. So I'm sorry,
Um,
I'm not familiar with rent controlled apartments. Is that like a lower income housing situation or is it
no, it
like,
just means that she's not paying so much for a nice apartment, and she is controlled. So on that side, she's stabilized, she's
oh,
reassured.
okay, so this
I
is
mean, the
like,
rent in New York is quite crazy, so
yeah.
she finally got what she wanted.
Okay, so she's so it's just interesting. So you've got a lot of positive thoughts about this amazing human. So you said that she's proactive, I think were your words, and you also said that you said something like she sought you out. So it's like you know that she sought you out, so that's a great thing. And I which of these circumstances is triggering you into this thought it's going to be too expensive?
Well, I guess it's not even one of these. It's just like she's gonna think my offer is too expensive.
Okay.
And
So
then the other
why?
thing is that I don't know if she's also thinking that I would coach her through my job because I'm also a coach in my full-time job.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be the same offer. It's just 6 or 8 sessions. It's absolutely not the same thing that I'm
Okay.
doing.
Did you see a LinkedIn
Uh,
post about you doing things for your company, or did you see a LinkedIn post about your
company.
program?
Yeah, my about not the company, about my program, about
I
my,
know. I
when I
was
say
like,
my
so it's like,
company is my own company, my business.
yes,
Yeah,
that makes sense. I'm following.
yeah.
So it's just interesting that so she reached out about a post that you posted about your program. So we are assuming that she does not know what your that you could even do this within your work, and your brain's like, it's too expensive. She's thinking I could like it's just interesting what your brain is braining about. It's like too expensive. She thinks it's just within um it's Doctors Without Borders, right?
Yeah.
Without Borders. I'm not spelling this right. Did I spell it right? I was like that. You know when you look at
There's
a
no
word
A.
and you're
Just
like,
for, there's
there
no
isn't an
A.
A. I was like, I'm looking at
Yeah.
this. I'm like, this is not right. Okay. So when you're thinking about her, when you're thinking that she thinks it's too expensive and you're thinking that she just wants to work with you in Doctors Without Borders, which of these circumstances is triggering that for you?
It's triggering what? I'm sorry.
The thought that she's going to think that your program, your
Ah.
offer is too expensive and that she just wants to,
Uh, nothing about being a single mom or divorced or living in a rent control apartment. It's just
so these are the things that are like causing you to think that she's going to
no,
think,
no, it's not that. No,
oh,
it's
these are
not
not
that.
it. Okay.
No, it's more that
Interesting.
I'm like, I know how much $5,000 can feel like it's a lot. I used to think
Okay.
like this too. Well, now it's not an issue for me to invest 5K in me, in
Yep.
myself.
And it can feel like a lot, right?
Mm.
Why can it feel like a lot? Why does 5K feel like a lot?
Um,
'Cause I think this is a thought we could work on.
well, so that's the thing. It's only with her, like with my previous clients in consultation, I was like, that's not a lot.
Okay, so
Like that's
what
not. I
makes
think
her
that
what
it's a
is the
fair. Like for me, it's
circumstance
just
that
a,
your brain is like, this is why it's a lot for her?
because she works with Doctors Without Borders, and I feel like my colleagues are cheap.
There we go. It's like, and there is because my colleagues
I mean,
are cheap. Are you cheap?
no, I'm not cheap,
And so it's
but I
like
feel
it's
I'm
just
like one of
interesting
the
that
only
like
ones.
And who knows? They and cheap. It's like, it's like they might not be willing to invest, but it's like that's what your brain has offered. It's like, my colleagues are cheap. How does it feel when you think your colleagues are cheap and that they're gonna think your offer is too
Uh,
expensive?
I want to laugh.
Yeah, right? I was like, I don't think we realized this is a thought. That's a nice, it's like, trust me,
It's like I don't feel serious. I don't take myself seriously.
exactly. If we that's a great way to channel like when your brain is braining, um, like finding humor in your thoughts and being like, okay, wait, hold on. So we can just thought stop right here, recognize what's going on and be like, okay, I'm having this weird thought that my colleagues are cheap, even though I know I'm not cheap, and pause the model before you do the consult. When is your consult?
Well, it was supposed to be tomorrow, but I saw that actually I accepted the meeting for today.
Oh,
But I think it's going to
excellent.
be
What is
tomorrow.
it?
Well, I think it's going to be tomorrow because I'm not available today. So I thought it was supposed to be tomorrow. I think she just made a mistake in her calendar.
Okay,
But
gotcha,
that's the
gotcha.
funny part, no? Like usually I'm like, I wait for them to come back. Hey, I want to, and I'm like, yeah, so let's schedule it. And then she was like, okay, can you do tomorrow? So
Literally.
that
And
was funny.
she is like actively like hunting you down and you're thinking that like my colleagues are cheap, right? And that's a thought. It was like, I trust me, I used to be a teacher. I was like, if you don't think that I had that thought as I offered my price and like I did consults with 4 colleagues at my elementary school. And I was like, here it is. And it was very uncomfortable. But I learned that skill, and that's like being able to hold space for other people's thoughts and not jumping in the pool is one of the most important skills I learned early on because I was coaching children at the time. And they were like, it was just like a very interesting dynamic. And I think it's like just a skill set that has served me since. So I think it's going to be a skill set to learn how to hold space for someone's new belief without fully like and believing in the transformation. Now, when we think about things being expensive and it can feel like a lot, I think that we just need to, when we think about that, I don't think you're considering the incredible intangible results that you would offer by her working with her for 5K. When we're thinking about it, like this person, I think of thought that's been really helpful for me is like selling is just believing in someone's transformation and showing them the possibility that they can transform right now. So if she were to work with you for 5K, I want you to picture this colleague. What would her life look like? What kind of things like, and I like actually do this. Like, I think about my exact people. Like, I have a couple consults today, and I was what like what would their business look like if they worked with me? And I'm going to pull up your pillars to be like, if we think about her doing 6 full months, right? 6 full months where she finds her direction, creates a future plan, learns how to create work-life balance, learns how to manage her stress, create self-confidence, and of course gets into that decision making. What would like I want you to believe in her transformation and just see it. What would it like tell me the shifts that you would like for her to
So
make?
to be honest, it's not the issue because I truly believe in that. And I went recently with my sister and enrolled her. So we went through like the consultation and like going pillar by pillars, and she was so excited as you
Mhm.
were going. And she's like, well, when do we start? So it's more about the fact that she took the appointment, and then I'm like, okay, does she just want to like check in, know more about what I do and what MSF offer, Doctor Without Borders, or like I feel like need to retake take control over, not take control, but like really, like I feel I'm not in control.
Yeah, I think you do
Like
too.
usually I'm like, okay, let's schedule, let's do this. And so I know what I'm going to talk about. And I'm like, okay, what does she want to talk about by my offer, about the coaching with Doctor Without Borders? Like, and so I'm thinking about as soon as I decide how I want to guide the conversation, it's fine, but it's still confusing in my brain. Confused.
Exactly. And it's like, so when we're thinking about like you not feeling in control, it's just awesome because you're decision coach. So it's like we just need to decide how you want to handle the situation. Now, what I did is I get what you're saying. And for everybody, there are going to be times when like people reach out and they're just putting out feelers and they're like, I just want to learn more. There are times when that happens. So I want you like in that situation, I still come in with full belief for them. I mean, like, I'm not sure if you wanted to hear more about this program, but this time is for me to learn more about you. What are your goals? What are things that you want to accomplish? And it's going to be beneficial for me to just learn a little bit about you and what you're looking to create in the next 6 months of your life. And if the program seems like it's a great fit, awesome. Then I can tell you more about working together, but I don't know if you'd be a good fit for the program, so let's talk through about like what kind of things you want to create, and then we can get into what things would entail in I'm forgetting the name of your program. I was like the
The
6 month
six
life
months
reset.
life reset.
It's so good. It's so good. It's like the 6 month life reset might be for you. It might not be for you. I would never tell you about like I would never sell you on something that I didn't feel like was a good fit. And for everybody, if somebody asks about your pricing, that's a great solution as well. To be like if someone asks your pricing, and if you want to answer your pricing out loud, like for clients, feel free to. That's totally fine. I do not have any negative thoughts about it. Only that, like, I think sometimes you, like, are trying to avoid talking about pricing, so just something to consider. But if another alternative could be like, "Hey, it's like, I'm so excited that you are interested in my program. I would love to hop on a consult because I would never ever coach you if I didn't think you were a good fit." So, like, let's see if you're actually a good fit first. Same thing here. Being like, "Let's see if you're actually a good fit for the 6 month life reset." I really think that this could be a great opportunity. I think that based on what I know you're really proactive. I know that you are a go-getter. I would love to work with you, but let's go through these categories first, talk about the shifts you want to make, and then clarify your goals. How does that feel?
Awesome.
Great.
Exactly. Yeah, I
I'm
just
like,
wanted to take the time with you because literally it was yesterday and I had a million things to do and I was like, oh, that's the time to coach on that and to just clarify a little bit.
yeah,
So
great
yeah.
clarify. Like, so it's like, if ever there's
So I'm
like
just gonna take 15 minutes
mhm,
to quickly set up a outline of the consultation again. Go over my outline and how I want to start the conversation and guide the conversation.
I love it. Um,
Like for some reason, I make it different than a regular consultation. That I'm like, okay, here's a couple of possibilities. What do you want? Let me send you the Zoom link. So I just have to like reshift a little bit.
yeah,
It's the same. It's just like, and actually, she set up a 1 hour, which
yeah.
I was surprised because if she only wanted to check in, it would have been less than that.
The program is for you. I'm like listening and nodding, and my brain is having a hard time responding simultaneously. But when you like, I think that like approaching it like any other consult, and you could have a level like so. The way I like to think about any business and anything in life, it's like I was talking with someone in the last round, and she was like, I feel like it's not authentic to be like a different version of myself with different people. And I'm like, I would never talk to you guys in the same way I would like my cat, for instance. I'd be like, oh my God, you're so small. Like just being like so excited. It doesn't make me inauthentic to show up and be in like a role where I'm leading a discussion. It just makes it's just a different environment. So I will say that in a different environment, I think it helps bridge the gap between you transitioning from a colleague to leading. I think it helps to start with the colleague kind of relationship you currently have and be like, "Hey, it's like this is what we're going to do." Like, so I'm so glad that you booked the call. I feel like this could be a really great thing for you. I just want to find out what's going on for you. and then step into that leadership role. Here's what I do on consults with people. I go through these steps, and then it can help that relationship also shift to where you're in a leadership position, and like, these are the things I'm an expert in. This is what I'd love to help you with. And it helps that, like, so I'm saying, like, yes, you said I don't want to treat it like any other consult, or just want to treat it like any other consult. I would say yes, with the caveat of continue your normal relationship and then shift into that leadership role. Does
Yeah.
that, like,
No,
you're
no,
like,
yeah. It's that.
I'm so excited for you. I feel like this is gonna be a really cool shift for you to experience, and I'm really excited for you to let us know how it goes tomorrow. You've got this.
Yeah. Uh,
Do you feel complete?
let's do this. Yeah, 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 it's fine. I just need a little like, okay, let's refocus and yeah, I want to go over
Just go over it one more
how I
time
want to
and be
lead
like, mm-hmm. And take some time before
and
the
take time
consult.
for that.
Yeah.
I cannot just show up like this and be okay.
And
So
that's
yeah,
where, like, the pre-consult worksheet, you could kind of like get into that. So
yeah.
I love it.
I do that.
Amazing.
And so yes, I have a consult. This is how I should have led the coaching. That's a
Yes,
consult.
it's
That's a
a consult,
consult.
and it's a good consult. And I have a feeling that, like, the story you tell yourself about her, it's like she's so ready. It's like just shifting that story to be like, oh my God, she's so ready to buy coaching from me. She makes
But
125K.
she told me, I want to work with you to start living my like to yeah, to live at my full potential. She just said it.
Oh
So it
my
was
gosh. Okay, so
pretty clear.
5K to reach her potential. Is that too expensive or a lot? For
It's what
life.
it takes. That's it.
It is. It is. And I'm so proud of you for, like, realizing that. And I cannot wait to
And I
hear
know
how this consult
because
goes
she's a
tomorrow.
single working mom too. So I know exactly and recently divorced. So actually, she's not even yet divorced. So I know exactly what she's going through.
They're like, been there, done that, made a program about it.
Yeah,
So awesome. I'm so excited for you. Please let us know how it goes. And we're all cheering you on.
I will.
Woo! Amazing. Who wants some coaching?
Thank you.
Of course. I was like, who wants some coaching next? Nadia, bring it with the win. Let's see what you got.
Hey, okay, what win? Well, a win I'm thinking is that because I signed a new client into the program, this is the first time I've sort of onboarded a client using like classrooms, like using the systems that you've taught. So I did that this week to try and I have a few little questions just about it, but
Yeah.
and I don't know, like I don't know how she's experienced it. Like, I hope it's all working fine. But I'll speak to her. Next time I speak to her, I'll be able to figure that out.
Yeah. Well, and like the first time I like set them all up, and I'm like, okay, so I send them the onboarding email that's super long. You do not need to send something that's that extensive. But I'm like, here are all the things, but just come to the first session and you'll learn everything you need to know. And I
Yeah.
usually take the first 10 minutes of that call to like be like, okay, so let me make sure you're in Google Classroom. Okay, are you in Google? Great. Okay, now let me talk you through. This is your Google Drive. Here are all the documents. We're only going to talk about 4 every week. We're going to go positivity, coach you on something. Then I'm going to give you a goal each week, or we'll create a goal each week. Give me a breakthrough, and then we've got this weekly tracker to see your progress as we grow. And this is Slack. And I'm like, and that's it. But like, if you don't want to use any of those things, you don't have to.
Yeah. No, I've not used all of them yet. Like, I didn't use that because standard Nadia is like, I just did the call before setting it all up. Like, I always do everything last minute.
I
So
love it.
it's
No,
fine.
I actually sent Rob a reel last night, and it was like about learning, and like it was like learning. It was just about like different like theories around learning,
Mhm.
and one of them was like, I forget the name of it. I can find it, but like it was like having a time, it was like having a time crunch for things
Mhm.
it does increase productivity. There's a whole theory around it. So if
Mhm.
that's how you work, instead of being like, did it last minute, being like, of course, because it's there, like it's proven that this is better. And I love my
Yeah.
reasons for doing it.
Yeah. I do. That is how I work. Like every time I've done like a training, like I do it like the night of or the day of or like the night before. Like I'm never someone that creates it.
Way in advance.
It's like unless there is a deadline, I will procrastinate and put it off as much as possible.
Oh
So
yeah.
I do want to work on that, and actually I want to talk to you about that today. But just a quick
Okay.
question. Do you see for your like, because obviously we're in the Google Classroom as a group. So for your one-to-one people, do they have just their own Google Classroom? Just
Yeah,
like,
the whole thing. Everybody I've ever worked with, they're all in this. I just disabled the chat. So
so wait a
the
minute.
way
So is that the same one that we, no, that can't be the same one that
No,
we're
it's a
in though.
different classroom. And so what I did is I have like a blank Google Classroom. So any future groups I like have this and you can make a copy of it if you end up doing a group. But this is the original group and this is for my one-on-one clients and this was like the first or the second round, third round, this is you guys. This is the fourth round of the mastermind. So
Okay.
in here if you go into settings, if you go into stream, I have it only teachers can post or comment.
And then, but can your one-on-one see each other? Like when you go to the tab of like
That's a good
people,
question. As an admin, I can see. I don't know if they can see.
because like I can see all the names of the people in my group,
You might be
our
able to
group.
see it, but I've never had it be like a problem. It's a
Right,
good
okay.
question. Like I don't think anyone's been like, "Oh, I didn't know you were working with Michelle." Oh, I'd be like,
Yeah.
"What do you mean?"
Yeah. But I suppose if you're using that, you could just repeat it and be like, each classroom could be like
A
Six Figure
separate
Systems,
client.
Harmony, and then have it like that.
You could do it as like each person gets their own classroom. So if I wanted to, I could make a copy for each of my people. I
Mm-hmm.
just think that like it literally if you click copy, it'll look like this and it'll be like this exact thing will be set up.
Okay.
This is for the March round,
Mm-hmm.
um April round. But within here, I don't know if it's like thinking about you being fully booked, that energy to remake that every time that you
Yeah.
onboard somebody, along with, I believe this does take up some semblance of Google storage.
Okay.
So I think that if you are thinking about like from that standpoint, that's where
Yeah.
I'm like, I would maybe consider just having it as one classroom and just inviting everybody. I don't know if there might be a setting actually. You could play around with it where like people can't see. I've showed like you can't see deleted items, show grade to students, class view. No. Yeah, so from what I'm seeing here, there's nothing that like keeps it
Okay.
private, but I think that might just be a thought that you're having that they need it to be private and it might not need to
Okay.
be.
And then my other question is, see how you've got it like in topics, as in
Yes,
go back
good
to the Google
question.
Classroom.
So within the classroom, if you go to
Yeah.
classwork,
Uh-huh.
what I did initially,
Like
which
how
I
do you
would
get the heading of Six Figures? You know what I mean? Like how do you
create a topic. If you go create and then hit topic, that's the
Oh,
heading. That's a
there you
good
go.
question. And you know what? I needed to record a video for this, and I realized just now that I didn't. So when you go, it's like now everybody, this is your informal Google Classroom training. Get ready. So, and I'll promise I will do it now that I finally have more time and I'm not sick. But if you want to create different topics like the
Okay.
essentials, additional systems, bonus, and guest speakers,
Uh-huh.
that's under topic. You can
Uh-huh.
actually create like a lot of different things. Like you can create a quiz, you can create an assignment. Assignments look like this. Demetria knows in the first round, I tried really hard. So, like, the video and the notes were in one materials tab. And then I had the actual document so people could actually like submit their work to me. And this is, hold on. Like, whoops. Don't look at this. It's like, but it's like within, I would be like, if you go to not in view instructions, it's like if you click on this, you could see everybody's. No, Jesus, Henry. Um, there was a way that you could see. Oh yeah. this is how I could see everybody's. There's Dimitri. I was like, but yeah, so this is like what it was. And I had everybody, that's where I learned how to copy. This is literally like what we did in the pandemic. We had 6-year-olds submitting this shit. It was a time, but it was like within their, like it would show as like ungraded. And it's like, if I just assigned it to them and then these ones I graded and gave feedback on, I would just say that, like, you're such a badass. You're doing so great. It was a lot of effort. It was a lot. Imagine that you had to submit every single system to me. Like, you can bring any system to me, but it didn't really make sense past like maybe thought work. It didn't like, I don't need to see that you made a copy of a testimonial template. Like, I do not need to.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you have it. So that is, but if you wanted to, that's an option. I make
Yeah.
everything a material.
Mm-hmm.
So for our call today, listen, in our classroom, but like for our call today, what I'll do is I'll go into our classroom, go to classwork, create material. Sorry, I went really quick. I'm gonna go back. If you guys, I was like, I didn't mean to like just fly through that. I was like, I literally, because of the pandemic, we had like 150 of these. So I do these
Mm-hmm.
very quickly because of my experience. You do not need to go this quickly, but you'll go from the stream to the classwork, click create. Instead of choosing assignment, quiz, question, go straight to material. And I'd be like, what week is it? Anybody know? Week 15. Oh my gosh, how
Mm-hmm.
cool was that? I was like, go week 15, 1-8, notes, replay. And I would literally just like take the notes and I go, for this one, I do view only. Click it here. And for the replay, I'll just include I'll just be like coming soon. Did I spell coming right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And then over here on the right hand side, you can see all the students. So for your progress forms, you guys can't see everyone's progress form. You can only see your own form,
Yeah.
but you could choose to be like, if it's their form, you could be like, it's only for this person. And then you can choose the topic. And I'm going to put it under live coaching calls. So,
All
like,
right.
if you
Okay.
look here and I go to edit Alicia's, I go here and I would be like, instead of for every student, go to, it would be when you first create anything, the default is for everybody. You have to
Okay.
manually go back in and change it. I think that,
So
like,
is that how, like, say for example, I'm starting with someone and I just want to do like the first topic. Like if I've only checked their name on that topic, is that
yes,
all they'll see? So that then
yes,
like each week I can release more.
yep. And
Okay.
that's such a good, I didn't even think about that, but yes, that you could totally do that. It might take a lot of time. That would be the only thing that I would think about. Like, if you were working with like a ton of people, like right now I'm
Mhm.
at 18 people and it is a lot. Like 18 people in two
Yeah.
groups. I'm like, it has been interesting. I'm hiring a VA immediately. I was like,
Yeah.
because you guys are seeing like
That's
really
a problem
messed
that
up.
will come up later.
Yes, but for the time being, that could
Yeah.
totally be the way that you format it. You could also
Hmm.
hire somebody to do that for you eventually if
Yeah.
you're like, this is really serving my clients.
Okay.
So really great questions.
Nadia, sorry, what did you say you could do? I don't get it
Okay,
because I
so
think we are
if
in a very similar situation. So
yes. Okay. So if you want to create a whole thing for your intellectual property, if you're like, I've created a bunch of documents, but I know that I just started working with Taylor and she's awesome, but like it's like I don't want to overwhelm her, for instance. I could choose to be like, go. The thing is, I have a lot of resources now because I've just accumulated them over a long period of time. But I could go in and be like, we haven't talked about marketing yet. And I could edit this. And instead of Taylor seeing this, she could go in and I could be like, everyone can see this except for Taylor.
Yeah. And you could just release it each week. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yep.
Or yeah, that's what I was thinking of doing.
You could totally do that. And I'm just going to make sure I actually add her back on. That'd be- She's like looking for it later. But yeah, you could totally do that. My standpoint is I was like, with all the humans I have right now. What you could do is you could do that at the end of each session, just like make a mental note, release the next
Yeah.
one. But what I
Yeah.
did for you guys for the group, and you guys can see this in my new group, is I actually scheduled out every single week. You know how like you guys get a
Yeah. How
module
do you do
piece?
that?
So the way that excellent question. So what you do is like you go in and you can like let's say okay, I'm going to make a new material and it's going to be week 6
Mhm.
and it's going to be 1/8. This is going to be for their call at 1 today. Notes, replay. If I don't want them to see this right away, let's say that like I'm doing thought work or something like it's like that they don't need to see it. I would still choose my topic. I would still go under live coaching calls, but um instead of posting it right away, you can even as you guys are like creating your intellectual property, you can save it as a draft in general and you never have to like have it scheduled or anything like that. And if I did that, it would look like this where it says draft.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that's good.
then oh funny. I was like I made this like 1/1. I was like this is not the right date. I was like I made it like the European style. Um, so then if I wanted to actually schedule it, then I would go in and hit schedule here. And then I
Mhm.
get to choose. So I just go through every Tuesday when I first like I'll do it for the
The
today
new group.
is today the 9th? Today's the 9th? I thought it was the 8th. Okay, great. Changing that. I was like, I've literally like wrote the 8th on everything today, but that's totally fine. I was like, today is the 9th. It's a new day. We're doing great. And I would go in and change that for them as well.
Okay.
But then what it looks like on my end, sorry, I'll show you on the side. It says scheduled for 3 o'clock today.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that helps. That's good.
Of course. I was like
I need
that
to just play around with it to make
just
sure.
play
Because
around
that's
with
my plan is to actually,
it.
similar to what you do for the group, I'm going to do it for one-on-one, like have a
Love it.
training so that then when we're coaching, it's more time coaching because they've already had the training.
Yep. I love it. And what I'll do is I'll tell people, I'll be like, if you want to, let's say I'm like, okay, I want you to watch this coaching session back. Or it's like if you want to be like, I want you to watch the acuity scheduling. Like if you haven't set up acuity, I just did this to the client because she hadn't set up, she's literally starting from scratch. So click these 3 dots, copy link, and then you can this whole thing, well, that was anticlimactic. All of this would be copied. And I was like, right? It was like it was one video. I'm like,
All of this can be
all of
copied.
this wonderful one video. But all of the marketing systems, this whole thing will go
Yeah.
in the link. And then you would click here, paste, and then if you just like hit plus, where it takes her is
Do
directly here.
that one. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that.
Is that helpful? So great
Yeah, that's
question.
really helpful. Thank you. Sorry, that was just like a technical
Anytime. No,
question.
I
So
think that like I now I know what to say in my training.
yeah, okay, cool.
Training. I think it was help like anyone who has intellectual property might as well start collecting it, and I love it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, cool.
of course.
Okay, so the quick thing then, I'll not be long, that I want coaching on, and it's really just a kick up the bum because I'm just get so annoyed at myself, is the procrastination.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was really good this week and I already pre-scheduled content, and then I'm like, I'm working in the mornings just now to cover for people. So then in the afternoons, I have like 2 or 3 hours before I pick up the kids from school, and I'm just scrolling. Like yesterday, I wasted like 3 hours. Like I was like, this is insane. Like it's just I'm getting so annoyed at myself. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
need to stop it. And I'm like, I want to nip it in the bud.
Well, and I love this. And just like a quick thing about like anytime our brain sees a problem, first off, our brains are just like amazing problem seeking tools. And a lot of times are like learning how to shift them into solution finding tools. And if we try and solve the problem of procrastination by thinking there's a problem, it's going to be harder to stop procrastinating
Okay.
versus being like, does that make sense? So it's like, if we try, like, if I'm like, my marketing isn't working and it's shit, it's a lot harder to make my marketing better than if I was like, my marketing's already really good. I'm already doing a really good job with my time, and I just want to make it even better.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you said a
Yeah,
thought.
because it's
I'm
coming from a
wasting.
different energy of like
Exactly. From like,
adding to it rather than the heaviness of like, well, my marketing's just shit. Totally. I get that. I see that.
exactly. It's like the work ethic isn't shit. I'm like, you have two businesses, you have children, you have created all these things. It's like, probably not like, this thought my work ethic is shit. Probably not going to serve you long term.
No, I don't think I said that. Like, I don't think my work ethic is shit. I
Oh,
just
is that what,
think
that's what I
I
heard?
didn't say that. I don't know what I said, but I'm just getting annoyed at myself for just wasting time. Like,
Yeah. And so it's like, if we think about like, so the reason why is your nervous system gets into like a frustration. It's like you're fighting, it's like you're getting that like the not full fight or flight, it's just a smidge. It's like, I'm just like annoyed. Like, what the fuck? It's like, come on,
yeah,
let's get together. But when you're in that state, your like rational brain can't think as well because the blood flow cuts off,
yeah.
literally.
Do you know when you said that? Like, do you know what it reminds me of? Like, because in the moment, even though I know I'm doing it, I keep doing it. It's like, not that I've ever really binged or anything, but it's like that. It's like, you know, when people know that they're binging,
And they just like,
but they
it's like
just
they're in
can't
a
stop
fog.
themselves. They're like, well, this is just going to be it. That's how I feel about procrastinating and just scrolling and messing about. So I'm like, how do I like catch
Yes.
myself
So it's
quicker?
like,
I did today, but I know it's something that continually comes up, so I just
it's
want help
something,
with it.
let's just like it's like, let's just figure it out. So what we want to do is, from this, like, we know this is a pattern,
Mhm.
so this is where it can come into, there are like three ways to change, the three steps to change any pattern in your life and in your brain is, the first step is awareness, questioning, choosing. It's
Yeah,
like, so we just want to like, it's essentially pattern interrupting.
yeah, that's what I need to do.
So when we're thinking about interrupting this current pattern that you're in, what if we could take a smidge of awareness? What when does it happen? Like, do you know a time? Is there like a certain time that like you always scroll? Is it after the kids go?
Well, I think, do you know what I've realized this last week, right? Or not that's just this last week, but I've realized that this week that this isn't helping. It's that like I'll coach myself in the morning, like
Hmm.
after the gym, but then I go to my other work and then I come back and my brain's not like freshly coached, if you know what I mean. So then before I even, it's the getting started. See, once I start like creating
You're
content
great.
or once I start a task, I'm fine, but it's the getting started.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Getting started
so
after like a certain period of time.
But it's just getting started on work, I think. Like I think
Yep.
if and this isn't a real world, but like if I was able to come home from the gym, coach myself, and then just get into work, I would be feeling great and I would just do it. But because I go off and do other work, then I come back and I've got to make lunch. I know this sounds ridiculous, but then I sit down and then after lunch I'm like, oh, I'll just have 5 minutes. And
Just
then
five
like
minutes. It's like, oh my
ages
God, I
later,
totally
it's
know that
like
thought. I'm like,
I have to go and
just
pick
give
up the
me a
kids, and I'm
minute.
like, well, there's no point starting now. I'm gonna go get the kids, and another day gone.
And then
So
you're like, oh
I don't know if
shit.
that answered the question, but that's kind of
No,
what
it
happens.
it totally makes sense. And literally, like, if I don't coach a client to start the day, like, I just know this about myself. I'm like, if I don't start, it was like, even when I was like, I don't care how much money I'm making, if I don't start the day, I just know this about myself. I'm like, if I have a client that starts at like 11 noon, like, even that late, I still won't start working until after I've coached. It's like so ridiculous. But I just know, like, I think that the shift I wanted to make is to be like, instead of shaming myself anymore, because I used to be like, bitch, it's 12:30.
I know,
What has
yeah.
happened? It's like, you did
Yes.
nothing today. It just doesn't create productivity. It's like, then I just
Yeah.
get frustrated with myself and I'm just like, okay, so this happened, not ideal. And then you can either choose to change the C's or change the D's. And I'm like, I'm thinking that it's like, we can either change your circumstances, uh, circum, it's like circumstances. I'm like, I love it, or change your thoughts. I would like to do both. So like instead of thinking it's like, ah, I've just noticed that I just spent 4 hours. It's like just like the compassion, like that's interesting. I wonder why I did that. And
Mhm.
if you are coaching yourself, you're feeling really good, and then you go to do you coach gym work, or do you do gym coach work?
I do gym, coach, and then I do other work though. So it's nothing to do with my business.
Okay, okay.
So then I come back and I'm not like focused on that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So if we've noticed that if we're thinking about like habit stacking, that your
Mm-hmm.
brain actually does feel productive after you self coach, but
Mm-hmm.
it gets focused on different kinds of work.
Mm-hmm.
A way that you, so it's like the thoughts are, it's like I still get everything done and it's fine. Like it's not ideal, but it's like we're getting better. The circumstance is, what if we shift the circumstance to be like, after I do my self coaching, I do coaching work,
But I
and then I do the
can't
other.
because I have to go to work.
Oh, okay, okay. So then maybe we don't self coach before the actual work. We self
Yeah, that's
coach.
what I'm kind of thinking. I'm like, I
Yeah.
think I should just ditch the self-coaching in the morning because I don't need coach to go and do the job, like to do the work of the other business, right? I don't need coached
Yes.
on that.
I
I
think
need
that
to,
that's
yeah, I need to like get into the habit of like after I've come home and had lunch, straight away getting into self-coaching because it's hilarious that I'm like, yeah, but 30 minutes at that time of the day is just a waste because I've only got 3 hours. But then I sit there and scroll for 3 hours. So actually, 30 minutes would be better.
it would, it's like that might be better. It's like we could set a timer, it's like whatever you want to do. And I also want to give your brain that time to just mindlessly exist. So it's like not shaming yourself for that either. Like at night, I'll scroll for like a solid 2 to 3 hours. I'm like, it's totally fine. I think
Yeah.
that is actually important to recharge my batteries. Those are my thoughts
Yeah.
about it. I'm like, I need to it's like this is how I'm choosing to recharge my batteries. Could it be more productive and like phenomenal if I was doing like yin yoga and like drinking a green smoothie? No, it's like I don't do that. I sit and I watch and I sometimes drink wine. I'm like, it is not necessarily perfect, but it
Yeah.
works for me. And so the thought that like I'm wasting time, it's like I found that like even I want all of you guys to adopt this, that like I think that like it's a choice to see your time is wasted and things like that. And one of the things that I like to do is when I'm thinking about my business, and like it kind of comes from like there's a right way to spend my time, there's a wrong way to spend my time. And
Mhm.
because I've been like feeling like ass for the past month, literally it was a month yesterday. I literally have not worked out in 30 days, 32 days. Like it's been a long ass time. Just did the first workout on Sunday, and I haven't done my self coaching in 30 days. But
Mhm.
instead of being like that was wasted time, I'm like, oh, it was another thought that came up, but like I'm behind. I was like, oh my God, I'm behind. I haven't done any of my back end systems in 30 days. Like, y'all know me. I'm like, I had the option of freaking out about it. And I was like, no, I'm like, I'm going to choose to think I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm safe. I'm okay here. And I'm going to get even better this upcoming year. I'm going to
Yeah.
hire people. I'm going to figure out things but it's like, I think that it happens that there's like a right way to do it, that I'm behind, I'm wasting time. Any of those thoughts, I think, come from corporate education systems that are like, there's a definition of like ahead or behind or things like
Mhm.
that. Like, you could say that, like, whereas your business, it's like you just get to choose. Like, it's wasted time is like, who's to say? Maybe someone would be
Mm.
like, you only spent 2 hours. You only spent 3 hours instead of spending like 7 hours like I spent scrolling. Excellent news. It's like, so just seeing that like the time wasted is also like a choice. And that's the thought shift. But I want to see what are you, those are my thoughts. Do you have
Yeah.
a thought that we could like
Yeah, well,
reframe?
my brain's arguing with that because I'm like, but it is because like that's 3 hours of no children, like empty time alone. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like,
Mhm.
it's wasted like potential time. Do you know what I mean? Because like time later, like you've got the kids, you've got dinner, you've got like all the other things to go on. Like it totally is just in my head. I can't not like I'm struggling to be like, that's
Like,
not wasted
it's
time.
fine. It's like, so maybe then we need like a bridge thought. We need to be like, okay, it's like I'm learning how to use my time better. And
Yeah.
like I'm choosing to be compassionate with myself for the way I spent time today. Like,
Yeah.
and like it's like tomorrow's a new day. I'm gonna
Yeah.
figure it out. Like, what is it? Because I think that like the frustration from personal experience compounded, and I literally like because of it, I overcourse. This is why I'm wanting to coach you on this a little bit.
Hmm.
Is like I over course corrected, and I filled every minute of my day, and
Yeah.
like I was like I can't waste any time. So literally, if you look at my even when I the time management one, I think that's when I like actually made that whole time management thing. It's like me, it wasn't in 2021, it was in 2022. I like if you were to look at my week, that was like a lot. It was like I planned out every
Yeah.
single minute.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things that I was like, as I'm the CEO of this business, my life has been a lot of pressure up until this point. And I just don't want to choose to like build my business with the same pressure that I've lived my life for the past 29 years. I was like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel as good, you know?
Hmm.
It's like, so what could be a like, because then what happened is I started to resent my business. Even recently, I've been like, oh my God, it's 18 clients. I have no time in the day. Any thoughts about time that are not necessarily positive? I hate saying that there's negative thoughts, but it's like, it's like we just want to like question and be like, do I want to continue to build my business thinking that I wasted potential time and feel like when you think you wasted potential time and you feel annoyed, it's like, is that a thought that you want to continue?
Um, well, yes and no, because I feel
Yeah.
like I'm like factually I did.
Okay.
And so I'm like, but
It's
I
almost
get
like
what you're saying. It's not
it's like a,
helpful to then rethink about that. I just
exactly.
like,
It's like it's done. It's like it's in the past. There's nothing we can do to
yeah.
change it. So
So no, I'm not going to drag it into the future. Like I do try to look every day, like try to be like, right, well, today, gonna
yeah.
try again.
Well, and I'm thinking for you, potentially, if we're thinking about like how we learn these things, is like, I'm guessing that there might have been a time in your life. This is how it came for me, is I put a lot of pressure on myself and I like kind of beat myself up in my brain, but I got a lot of shit done. So it's
Yeah.
like, I would be like, stop wasting time. This is the only time that you had. And that worked for me really well. It created a lot of financial and like all the success, and so my brain got also a dope it was like almost like a not a dopamine hit, but kind of. It was like almost
Hmm.
like this is how we get shit done. This is just how we've always gotten shit done. It's always
Hmm.
like being like, I've wasted time, be better tomorrow. Like get your shit together. These were my thoughts. When you said the work ethic one, like my work ethic is shit, that was literally my thought. I was like, so I totally projected right onto
Yeah, I
you.
was about to say, because
Sorry.
I didn't say that. I didn't like, I was
Literally, it
like,
was like these were literally thoughts that I had to work on every day. It was like, so I was like, totally didn't mean to project that on you. I did. But within that, it's like I was like, I don't want to continue my life like this. It doesn't seem like very like if I'm gonna choose, it's like, yes, it's worked for me and thank you, brain, but I want to do something different now. Totally up to you. But like it could be like that bridge thought of like what do you want to think about your time and like the wasted potential time? What do you want to choose to think intentionally about it? Like,
um,
even if it's like the
I
past
just
tense
want to be
of don't
like,
do
well,
it our
that's
tomorrow.
done. Like, I just don't want to focus on that. I just want to focus on the here and now, like
Yes.
what I'm going to do
What are we
now.
going to do moving forward? We're moving forward. So when we think about like, so when we've got that thought and we're like, okay, that's done. Now we're moving forward. We have now like, I think that this is going to be really helpful.
Yeah.
And what is the stuff that you want to get done during the day? Like, do you have a clear outline of that stuff? It's like if
Yeah,
our
so it
result is getting
depends.
stuff done.
I've been just minimizing what I'm doing, but it's either been the creating the content, which I did do at the beginning of the week and scheduled. And then yesterday it was more the sort of networking, the outreach, that thing. So it's maybe because I'm like, don't really want to do that, that I'm like, I'll just scroll for 5 hours.
Yeah, totally checks out. And we know that that might now be a pattern. They're like,
Yeah,
oh, this is unpleasant. I do not want to
yeah.
talk to the humans. It's like, doesn't feel good. totally fine. But if we're like, okay, based on data, this is what I would like to try to build my business. Like it seems like this is pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
What instead of being like, oh, I don't want to do that, what thought do you want to think instead as you go and you see outreach is on your calendar? You're like, it's 30 minutes and I don't want to do this. What could you
Mhm.
think instead of I don't want to do this right now?
Well, see, the other thing I was thinking the other day is like I actually love meeting people in person. Like I'm a total people person. Like I love making new connect. Like totally. I think it's because I'm thinking about it's like I'm going to find people, and then like so today when I did it, you know, and then I get stuck down the hole of like, are they like, could I help them? Do you know what I mean? And then it just spirals longer. So I'm like, I
So we
think
do
that's
that.
the issue of it.
I think so too. And so we're just gonna like circuit break it. Like, so it's like there's a circuit going on in your brain. It's like, oh, they don't know. And then it's just like building evidence of like, oh, and maybe they
Mhm.
don't really want me. Do they even need my help? I don't think they really need my help, and it's fine. And like, so instead of just we're gonna like break the cycle, there are like when I notice something that's like, and I don't think it's that triggering for you, but if anyone else experiences like something that they do in their business that's really, really triggering, first off, before you try and figure out what it is, doing something to like regulate your nervous system. I'm gonna have somebody to like come on and talk about it, but like just like literally like passing something back and forth, like that helps me like to be like, okay, I'm just gonna like not focus on all the thoughts in my head, get back into my physical body and be like, I'm literally just on a phone, like just talking to people, you know? So I said, instead of like, I love meeting people in person and I'm learning to love meeting people online.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like you see how it's like it gives you that like, or it's like I really am it's like I really would love to learn how to love people, meeting people online. It's like that's something I
Yeah.
really genuinely want in my life.
Yeah, because I would want like because it see like these are the things like if I loved it, then my job would be amazing. Do you know what I mean? It's like you
Mhm.
can just choose to love like you
Love
can
is a
think
feeling.
like I love marketing, I love coming up with ideas, I love creating it, and I'm not 100% there yet. I go peaks and flows whether I like it or not. But you know, these are the identity or the characteristics that I want to have of myself. That it's like I love meeting people, I love outreach, like I love and I love creating content for people.
I was like, yes, like I will you watch this back and like write these thoughts down because I couldn't get them
Mhm.
down fast enough. But it's like with that shift, it's like then that's really it's like that's gonna feel so much better when
Mhm.
you're going to sit down. So when you think like, oh, I don't want to do this right now, is it just kind of like what is the emotion that you're currently feeling and actually let's not even think about that. What emotion do you want to feel on purpose when you sit down to do work for your business?
I want to feel like eager or like enthusiastic. Like I want to feel like, yeah, like keen to do it.
What thought make and first off, another like hack for anybody, if you like you want to remind your brain of the intentional thought because it's always going to default 80% of the time to subconscious. So I actually had a post-it note with like intentional thoughts and feelings that I wanted to have. You can also set alarms to be like, it's like eager. And what are the thoughts that make you feel eager? Or what is a thought?
Makes me feel um eager.
Or enthusiastic.
Yeah, just like I want the result this will give me. Do you know what I mean? Like I
Yes,
actually do want to build this business.
I
And it's just
really,
reminding myself like because your brain's like, oh, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that.
of course,
But it's like when
like
I first started working out, I used to be like, I hate working out. And now I'm like, I love working out. Like I genuinely do believe
exactly
that now. Now
same.
I'm like, I am a person who enjoys it.
Right. And so it's like if you could do that in one area, you can do that
Hmm.
in anywhere because how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah.
So now we just like need to learn the skill of loving building your business. And I think that recommitting to like, I really do want to build this business. Like I genuinely want the result that this is going to give me gives you that enthusiastic, eager drive to
Yeah.
then get the marketing done. So I want you like, it's like anytime that you notice you're being like, oh, it's like, no, I really want this. And it's
Yeah.
going to require breaking your motivational triad. That is
Yeah.
having you seek pleasure, avoid pain, and conserve energy.
Yeah.
And we want to circuit break the motivational triad. And I can even pull up a diagram of like I forget what I called it. I actually um I made this because I was like, what's the opposite? It's like, okay, what is the
Yeah, it's
opposite of
in your
motivation?
slide deck somewhere.
Yeah, it's okay. So it's the achievement or the accomplishment triad. So it's being long-term gratification focused. I just had it. Oh, here we are. Seeking success over pleasure. So that's kind of like that thought, like, I really want this. I want this success. And I would regret not doing this work. Like
Yeah.
I would regret not working towards this result today. And
Yeah.
then you'll become energized because instead of conserving energy, you can be like what can you give your brain as a thought to become like it's like energized. Because like if we know we're breaking the motivational triad, we want to like give your brain other thoughts anytime you're like, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, oh, this is
Yeah.
so uncomfortable. That's the pain. Seeking pleasure, scrolling, conserving energy is,
I think maybe it's like along the lines of like, because if you think about it, if it was something I really wanted to do and enjoyed doing, I would be like, I've only got like, say it was like to watch my program, I'd be like, I've only got, I can only watch one episode. But whereas if I started thinking about like, well, I've only got 2 hours to do it. I don't think I'm quite there yet, but like that would be like,
it's
that's the
like,
kind of ilk
I'm
of, do you know what I mean?
seeing,
Like,
yeah, yeah. It's like that's what I think about like with my life. I'm like, I don't know when this life of mine is gonna end. I hope it's later, but because I've got a lot of things I would love to do. But I'm like, I only have this one life to live. Let's do everything we possibly can to make this like the best fucking life ever. And I
yeah,
know that's like not like a thought I've learned recently that is not a thought that everybody has, and that's totally fine. That's just one that really drives me, you know?
yeah. Yeah, because it's not like I'm sitting there being like, "Oh, I've got 8 hours to do this, and it's like a dread. If I'm like, if I think about like I've only got 2 hours, I've only got 3 hours, then that'll make me
Let's do
want,
something awesome with it. Like, let's
yeah,
create something like that's gonna blow their minds. Let's meet people who we absolutely love. Like, let's do the things, you know?
yeah,
And I think that that thought about like I will say, just from the other side of things, I know that if you start to use those 2 hours to do the things that you were just talking about, it took 2 years. And now I will say that like already after just 2 years, like which I would not consider like a super long time. Like it took me 4 years to really figure out teaching. And I was like, after 2 years, not only have I like really figured this shit out, but I also am working with the best humans ever. Like every time I get on a call with you guys, I'm just like, holy shit. Like they are the coolest people ever. I love you guys all so much. I think about you all the time. Talk to Rob about you guys. Like I just like get so excited. I'm like, I can't believe that this is like my life now. I'm like, I literally
yeah,
just get to get up and help people. I'm like, it's
yeah,
like the best thing in the world. So I know that like this is kind of like um it's like the in-between zone of like being in the creating.
yeah,
And I just
yeah,
want to
yeah,
give your brain like if you want it and you continue to work towards it,
yeah,
it will happen and it's like even better than you ever imagined. Like it's like
yeah,
I literally like I thought this would happen when I'm like 40. And I'm
mhm,
like, what? The fact that I'm doing this now is just like the
yeah,
greatest like thing ever. And I always said in the morning when I was doing my future self work, I always thought that my future self would thank me for the work I was doing that day. You know, so it's
mhm,
like I always like kept that in mind. And I'm like,
yeah,
but I thought it was like 10 years from now. Like I thought it
yeah,
was like, okay, 10 years from now I'll thank myself for the work I'm doing today. But I want
yeah,
you to know that it might be even closer than you think.
yeah,
So
yeah, okay, no, I like that.
yeah. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, I got my standing desk going on. And I was like, I want to make sure that I saw everything. Yes. Oh, love it. So proud of you. Do you have anything else or are you feeling complete today?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. And I just want to share, like, it's like the way I like to think of it is like when I first started to get fit, it's like going to the gym every week. Like, of course, I'm not going to see any difference
Mm-hmm.
for ages, but then all of a sudden you're like, I've got abs. Do you know what I mean?
Right?
Or like
And you're like,
you
oh
start to
shit.
notice that. So it's like rather than focusing on the end result, it's just focus on what you do every day and every week, and then the result will be inevitable. That's the kind of way I think of it.
Oh my gosh, my aunt said this at like Christmas dinner, but she was literally like, she saw this reel and it was like you keep pounding every day and you
Mhm.
keep like wanting to see the result, but it's the compounding effects of the pounding that actually make the result worthwhile. So I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
exactly.
if I find that one and the like learning styles one, I'll try and send it to you guys if I
Yeah,
know
send
it.
them. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Of course, this is so good. I think this like bringing it back. I'm sure that there is literally like every single person on this call is probably like also maybe procrastinating in a way that they might not love, and so I think this is useful for everybody. Amazing. Who wants some coaching next?
I'll go.
Yes, Demetria, very good. Start with a win. What has been going on for you?
Okay, I have two wins. One, I am sitting in Wisconsin and it's snowing outside. So beautiful. I'm from Texas. If we get this, it's like it doesn't look like this. It is so gorgeous. And so I'm like looking out the window. And I'm here working. So like week 2 of the year, I've brought in money, yay, for my business. So that's exciting. And it's been good. So that's
Same.
it.
I
Uh, those are my wins.
love the
So
wins. Tell me what you
yes.
would like some coaching on.
Um, so I wrote in my night blah 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 blah. Hold on, let me find my words. My 90-day goal
Okay.
is I changed it a little bit, just reworded it. It's the same
Got it.
end goal that I'm looking for, but my goal, you're gonna love this, is outreach to 10 people a week. Now I know it's
Love
supposed to be
it.
more than that, probably
No,
more than
it's
that, like a
progress.
day, but outreach to 10 people a week. And so I've been, well, it was what I decided this week, like to refine it a little bit. And I've done a little, but I'm working on like finding like bringing the people in. Of course, if they comment on my post or something like that, I'm going to reach out and say, hey, what can I help you with? Whatever. But I'm also trying to comment on like larger accounts, and add value in places. So I'm just doing that. And then also like this is a win slash new method. I did that summit that I wasn't crazy about doing, and they
Yes.
needed me to re-record it. And I'm like, you know what, I'll do it when I have time because it was during the holidays. But I did it right before I came up here. And then I was listening back to just make sure it was all good. And I sent it to them. I'm like, this is really good. And I'm going to use this. So I put it up on YouTube, but put it out and I'll be putting it out. Like if you want this, DM me and I'll, send you a link so I can get emails, people can use it. But also I'm going to be posting some parts the from the web. I'm like, it's just good stuff. I'm like, these are posts. And I had an epiphany. So
Yep.
I'm going to be posting using some of that and then thinking that I'm going to go back and look at some of my other content and what can I repurpose and say in a different way. So
I love that. And also a thing, if you use video I was just talking to a client about it this week. Any podcast that
mhm,
you do, anything that you have like that, again, this is paid, but like you get 75 minutes a month.
mhm.
And so if you've got parts of the podcast that you have, like I just uploaded this and it looks so jazzy and I'm repurposing not parts of it. Wow, beautiful face. It's like it was like, but like, I'll take this and I'll put it on my stories too. So not only
Yes.
just for reels and content like that, but you could make it into stories too. So these are my thoughts for you.
So Descript does that. I don't know. I'm
Descript, you
assuming
told me about that at the, did you tell me about that at the podcast thing or did somebody else?
I did, I think.
I was like,
So
amazing.
I'm assuming that I can just take that video clip and put it in there. So that's one of the other things that I'm going to do is go back and look at the different podcasts and find nuggets that I can take out for reels and or stories. Yeah, because it's just a little video and I can make it as long as I want.
And it's free. I mean, like you already are paying for it, right? And like Descript, I
Yes.
think, is less than Video AI. And if anybody needs to know where that is, if you go into the classwork, there's a link here on Allison's podcast training, and the AI options are here if you need
Yeah.
it.
And I would just, I couldn't find like an affiliate link or whatever for Descript. It doesn't matter because it's super easy to use. And I know that there are a lot of pieces that I could do better with editing and whatever, but that's not my main focus right now. So
Yeah,
doing very B plus, but it's seamless, easy for a non-tech person. It does a lot. It
I love.
transcribes as you're going.
Yeah,
Sometimes I didn't understand my Southern accent. I'm like, that is not anywhere close to what I said. But
love it.
it's a great tool, I think. And you can do videos and audio and stuff.
Which is so helpful.
Anyway, so that's where I am. And then my other kind of reframing of my goal, not changing.
Mhm.
It's just like I'm just focusing on like the next client that I'm signing. So
Yes. Like next client, focusing on them.
yeah,
And I want to know, what are your thoughts about, is it about the goal that you would like coaching on, or outreach in general?
probably outreach in general. Like,
What?
because
Give
that's
me
the
your
thing.
thoughts.
Like, I've resisted it. So my thought is like, I don't know where to find them.
Okay, helpful. Let's think about where to find them. How does it feel when you think that thought? Just quick model it out. What is
Yeah,
so
it feels like it's frustrating. So of course, like I said, if they've comment on my thing, I'm going to nurture and try and comment back and try
okay.
and connect with them. But
So,
yeah,
okay.
but it's the I don't know where to find them is
Yeah.
like otherwise.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. So you don't have that thought with people who are commenting. Do you have that thought for people who follow you?
Oh, no.
Oh, oh.
Oh, those people. But you know what okay, I'm gonna go back in and look. I swear it is like 50% coaches
Mm-hmm.
and like people, vendors who would sell to coaches,
Mm-hmm.
and then weird rando guys slash bots. That's what
Fun.
I think
I love
um
it. I was like, these are fun thoughts. I was like, because I'm sure that like we have all been there where they're like, obviously they're not in my audience. I was like,
right.
Nadia, I know that literally got coached on this like a couple weeks ago, and it's like, no, it's like they're coaches. They're. So do you think what percentage of your audience is not real?
Not real,
Like
like
100%?
bots. No, not 100%.
What
So
percent?
like the bots and the weird guys that are probably just like spammers, I'm gonna go with like 25. Y'all know what I mean, right? Y'all get
Yes,
those.
100%.
And
I
I'm
know
like,
exactly what you mean.
yeah, okay, so and I just leave it. I ignore them. I don't get
Yeah.
mad about it, but I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna engage. I would say 25%.
Okay, so we got 50% bot coaches, 25% bots and weird guys.
Yeah.
So we got like 25% that might maybe actually really freaking love you and be interested in you, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Okay. Percent of people interested.
Just quickly to add, you know how I was totally saying like my whole audience is made up, like I just made up, like I in my head, they're not. Well, the person that came to my training and signed as a client was just following me, so she was in my audience. I just didn't know about her. Just wanted
Yeah.
to share that.
And I
FYI.
know there are people there. And so then like the private accounts, like I said, I've been looking and I will say, hi, thank you for following me. And I type it out
Okay.
so it doesn't get blinked or whatever. Hi, thank you for following me. And let me know if you have any questions, or sometimes I'll say, I have
This free thing.
this free thing. Yeah. So
Okay. So, what is your thought? I was like, I just want to clean up your thoughts here, and then we'll go to like the external outside of you. I just want to, what is the thought for people who are commenting? What do you think about them that makes you feel so like, of course I'll talk to them.
They're talking to me.
Okay, they're talking to me. Do you think that they might want
I'm sorry, I'm trying to turn you up and I muted you for a minute.
Oh yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, no, it's my thing. I had it done.
Okay, gotcha. I was like, let me know because if these batteries die, like I won't know. So
No, it's just me.
so okay, so they're talking to me. How does that feel?
It feels good. Like I'm like, okay, I'm like, they commented or they liked me. I'm like, I feel totally fine interacting with them. I feel natural. I don't feel any kind of way about it. Like I'm like, hey, and unattached too.
Yes. Okay. So what about the people? It's like, so I think this is, if I were to like rank it, and I know I'm like trying to color code it, but I'm like, I think this is a solid thought. What about the people who you're saying, hey, thank you for following me, let me know? It's like, what are your thoughts about them? Like, in order for you to take that action, you must have a thought and a feeling that's fueling it. I just want to know what it is.
Um, well, you said like think about walking into a store and somebody's like, hey, how you doing? So that's what I'm thinking when I'm welcoming them to my page. I'm totally cool with that.
How does that feel?
That feels good.
Okay. Maybe something like slightly more descriptive. Like,
Um, it feels good and hopeful.
okay. Maybe like just like yeah, I like that. Okay. So we're trying to shift from good and hopeful to like frustrating. So that's what I'm trying to figure out when we're thinking about like doing this outreach. And this is why I wanted to like get clarity on this.
Right.
But I want you to think about when you're going, where have you been going to when you've been commenting on the larger accounts, adding value? You're having this thought, I don't know where to find them. It's like when it's like, are you like, is it when you're commenting on the larger accounts? Is it when you try and talk to people like brand new?
So maybe the frustrating is I don't know what like I'm looking for larger accounts that I would say like over 5,000 followers. So
Okay.
because I feel like if it's smaller than that, then I'm like, I don't know, poaching,
Okay. So we got
which is weird. I know. So
yeah, I was
like
like, there might
larger
be a
accounts. So
thought
then
there.
um and I just and then I haven't been able to maybe that's I haven't been able to find larger accounts that I feel like are in my niche. Like I scroll, I kind of look around. Um, I use the search and it's
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
What is
Maybe I don't know who I'm looking for.
I was about to say, what do you think your niche is? I'm just curious.
Oh, I do know that. I'm like, I do know that. I feel really
Excellent. Okay,
solid.
we want to focus on what we know and then fill in the blanks.
Okay, so this is I wrote I don't know if I told you this. I wrote this in the middle of the night the other night. Like it came to me like so clear. Like a, a woman in her, I don't know, whatever, 30s to 60s, who is feeling like they didn't check the boxes that they were supposed to check.
Mm-hmm.
And or maybe they're missing out on something. And for that full life, it was so bad because again, I was half asleep.
No, it's
It's like,
not so bad. It's wonderful. I'm just trying to like, so it's like, it's just interesting that you're like, I have no idea where these people are. And I'm like, the life coach
they're
school, Corinne Crab, or not Corinne, Jody Moore, like off the top of my head, these are like larger life coaches that also like speak to like Edie Wadsworth, like them.
right. And so, but then
This is a poaching thought, I think is maybe.
yes, like
Yeah.
they're coaches. And so yeah, like that's rude if I go to their page and
If,
yeah, I
yeah.
have oh my God, I have avoided other coaches' pages, but
Interesting. Okay. So Why? It's still like stealing, it's poaching from them?
Yeah.
Okay. It's stealing. Okay. And that
Like
feels
poaching. I don't know why I like
I feel like
that
it's
better.
poaching. Let's use the word poaching. I was like, it's very visual. I love this. So when you think the thought it's poaching, how does that feel?
Sleazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what it is? I'm like, I don't want them to ever meet me later on. And because of course they would know. And they're like, that's that girl that talked to that one person on my thing and not
Mm-hmm.
like me.
And oh, okay. Yeah. It's clear now. And so when we're feeling sleazy, so you avoid it entirely,
I
think it's
avoid their
rude.
pages. Like I'm looking for, I was okay on Mel Robbins' page, but there were also 6,000 other coaches on Mel Robbins' page kind of doing
Okay, so
the
it's
same
like you've got your
thing.
brain's got rules. It's like, okay, it's okay to talk to these people. It's not okay to talk to these people.
Yeah.
Here is my it's but the thing that what happens is you undermine your ability to see you're not poaching. If there was another business coach, let's say there's another business coach in the world. There are many, right? And
Mhm.
they have a huge audience, but they only have a membership option, right? They
Mhm.
only have a membership. There are people in there that might want the membership. They also might want a one-on-one coach.
Right.
So if we're thinking about that, like even for me, I think when you get to a certain stage, like even right now, like I feel this way passionately. Like Nadia, if you were to go and like look at my page and find some coaches that connect with you, that actually like love you, there are people who I don't connect with. Like for sure, that's just like how the world works. And but they still need help. They still need support. I'm like, I don't want them to just like not ever like if they meet me and they're the only business coach they ever meet and they don't get what they were looking for, I genuinely believe in coaching so much that I just want them to get whatever help that they need so that they can find somebody else. Literally any business. I just want businesses like for me, I'm like the and Nadia, you mentioned it in your pillars, but like the time and financial freedom that having your own business creates for you is I truly think unmatched. And I'm like, if there is someone else, I found out there's another six-figure systems that this lady has to create courses. And I am so thrilled that like there is another six-figure systems in the world that is able to serve people because I don't want to teach people how to create courses. So I'm delighted that there's someone who is able and has the experience and life skills to do what I'm not able to do at this stage in my life, nor maybe will want to do. So I want you to think about these larger people and being like, what if I was like, what if they want this and they want it from you? What if they've tried the big group thing and it's they might just want somebody to hold their hand and be with them one on one?
Yeah. That's
I
true.
I think what's happened is you started thinking about the way that you'll be the way that people will perceive you versus and I like Stacy has said this, Brooke has said this, like larger coaches have said this. They're like jump on in. Like Stacy's like use every single piece of my content. If you want, it'll resonate differently with your people.
Right.
I say the same thing. I'm like use it all. I'm like I hope that somebody else is teaching like I do not mind in the slightest. And so
But
I
that's different to me, like the content.
okay, so
That's I feel
content
like
is
that's
different than human.
different than me
Why?
being on their page saying, hey, well, because like when you get down to it, it's all out there somewhere, right? Like it's
Hmm.
not universal knowledge, but we're not creating anything super new. It's
But
just
these
the way you're
humans are
saying it.
these. You think there's a thought maybe about like collecting humans that like they put all this effort into collecting these humans, and I'm going to have to steal the humans. It's like the poaching. I'm going to poach the humans from
Mhm.
this person. What are your thoughts about their effort to build their audience? That might be what's going on.
Mm. Maybe that it was a struggle because maybe I feel like I'm struggling.
And so it's wrong if they had to struggle to build their audience.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Wait, that it's
Like,
wrong that I go in and because they worked hard to get these people and
yes, that's the thought.
wrong.
Work
Yeah.
hard. They worked hard to build it and what?
And now I'm going in and poaching
Going in and poaching.
or insert myself, like they
Yep.
put in this comment or this post and I know, like Corinne said, like they can't get to all the comments on the thing, but I'm like, hey, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. But if it feels wrong to you, then as you do it, you're going to be timid. You're not going to be showing up fully yourself
Right.
to respond to them. And that's what I would like for you to because it's like that sleazy feeling.
Mhm.
I never want you to feel sleazy when you're commenting on me or anyone else's account. If they ask you respectfully and they're like, hey, I would appreciate you not doing that. Like if someone was in my Facebook group and they're posting in there all the time and even then I'm like, I freaking love it. But I'm like, for my Facebook group, I'm like, we're a community. I created this movement for us to move forward together. If someone is taking this initiative, I am proud that I brought them into my space and I'm so excited for them. Now, if like I'm trying to think of a time when I wouldn't be okay with it. I would probably not be okay with it if they were giving like conflicting information and they were like organic marketing sucks, only do ads. And I'd be like, that's not like I don't love that.
Right.
You're like, don't, it's like that doesn't feel great to me. And I would probably I have like a conversation with that person and be like, hey, it's like let's like talk about this. I hope I don't get like, and who knows, like maybe if my business gets really, really big, then I might not have the time to reach out personally. But like, I don't want that threatened feeling that I think that maybe the thought is like, if someone did that to you, it would feel like not great. So you want to like do the golden rule versus what if it actually feels awesome that like, if like, say it's Corinne, right? You have invested money and time into her. You are now like leading the charge after her in a different way that Corinne does not want to do one-on-one coaching anymore.
Right.
So it's like if you think about it like that, it feels like instead of like they struggled for this and I'm poaching them and it feels sleazy. I want you to be like, this is serving their people until I find out otherwise. And if somebody, it's like, I'm going to continue to serve these people until if somebody reaches out and they're like, hey, stop commenting on Corinne, you'll be like, totally fine. 100 million% respect that. Same with Facebook groups. Like, I'm like, yeah, totally fine. If release the reins at any point, that detached feeling that you have here, it's like we want to have that same feeling with these accounts. However, I do think that there are a ton of people who are, and maybe they're like when I did, when I like my one-on-one coach now, I hired her again. My business coach, Jackie Murphy, she had a, um, I was coaching with her one-on-one and then she started a group and I was like, oh, I want that too. So it's like, it was like kind of like I would buy multiple things, but I was also working with Jackie and decided to do 2K, which is another business coaching program. So it's like just because I'm doing multiple things doesn't make me bad or wrong. And that kind of puts your clients in like a box too, if you're thinking about it. Cause it's like, okay, you can only work with me or them and you got to choose. It's like, no, or you could do both. We're both great, you know? Do you feel the difference? And like, but it's like, I don't want to just like be like, I'm not going to even try and reach out to you. Like, it's like, because I don't want to like be rude. I think
Yeah.
those are your words.
And so, you know what? You're right. Like in a Facebook group, I know the rules, I read the rules, I totally respect the rules. So I guess I need to think about Instagram a little bit differently. And it's just commenting. I'm just another commenter in their feed commenting.
I'm
And
telling you, I literally go to the life coach school or wherever, and I'll be like, okay, I'm like, maybe I could serve some of these coaches here.
Right.
I literally go into them and I'm like, hey, we both follow the life coach school or here. Oh, like
Mm.
Stacy. And like literally, like I think that we talked about it before I was on her podcast, but she was like, yes. Like it was like we were talking about like how like more people need to talk to people. And it was
Well,
like,
and that was my thought about get coached when, because she's like, this, I'm like, there'll be a whole lot of people who need some life coaching. Because they're just
yes,
not coached in there.
literally, yes.
That was
And
my
it's
thought
like,
about
okay, so it's like this Crystal the medium. I've never worked with a medium before, but she's in the school of psychics. Cool. I'm like, I've never worked with a psychic before, but that might be neat. It's like I might as well get to know her. It's like, hey, we both follow Stacy. It's
Yeah.
like, um, love what like the psychicness that you're doing.
Mhm.
Like, I
And
don't
then
know
do
what
you follow them if they're a public account?
if they're a public account, I'll comment on their story. Like usually I look for the little circle
Yeah.
and I'll be like, I'll respond here and ask a question. Oh, look how cute she is. And she only has a 230 followers. I'm like, I feel like I could help you out. I feel like I
Right.
can help you build this. And look, she's trying really, really hard. Like she is
Right.
working her butt off. I'm like, I love this already. And I'm like, I would actually like listen to what she says.
And
Oh,
then
she's in snow too.
she has snow too.
Like, oh my gosh, look at that.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it. I'm gonna report back with at least my 10 for um this week, and then we'll
Yes.
start baby steps, 10 a week at
10
least.
a week. I love that.
But I
And
do
like,
have one quick other question.
yes, of
Uh,
course. You could
and then we
ask
can,
like 50.
you can answer it later on. So the authenticity star, whatever they call it on Instagram, is it worth it? Should I do it? Does it cost money?
It does. I had to get it because my account was blocked and I was very
Okay.
irritated. So I did not want it. It is something that was thrust upon my account. But
Okay.
within I would say that like I, I wouldn't get it. I was like it doesn't
Okay.
seem like it's like I think that the only reason you would get it is because like I've thought like I need to have like authority in the industry or something like
Mhm.
that. And I will say that I don't think it's given me any more authority in the industry. I will
Okay.
also say that I had a client tell me yesterday that she made a new account and couldn't find me and she searched me. And I'm paying like all this money a month. And I'm like, how could you? What in the world?
Wow.
She's like, yeah, like I tried to find you. I typed in Megan Wing coaching, couldn't find you at all. And I'm like, awesome. So I don't know
Wow.
what's going on with that, but the only
Okay.
thing that gives you benefits too is then I can like now I found that that happened, I'm gonna contact support and be like, I actually get a person instead of a bot.
Okay. Well, that's good. Well, I may do that later on because a long time ago I got blocked from, I
Yeah,
boosted a post and it was perfectly benign in my eyes, but it was probably like, I can help you or you could do this. And I'm blocked from boosting posts. And I just never worried about it because it's not something that I'm wanting to
awesome.
do now, but at some point I'll address that. Okay. Thank you
Yeah.
very
Well,
much.
real quick, what is the thought that you want to have when you go and talk to these new people?
Um, I can help them and my next client might be there.
Oh, I love that. How does that feel?
Good.
We need to come up with another verbiage for you. I'm gonna give you the wheel of emotions. I'm gonna be
I
like,
think people say that I say fantastic too much.
I
Um,
like fantastic. I'm like,
okay,
this the good is killing me. I love
fantastic.
it. Is here feeling fantastic. And if
Yes.
you ever like, if you're like, oh my God, I do not feel fantastic, that is totally fine. Like nothing has gone wrong. We sort of redirect our brain, just like I was telling Nadia, to the intentional emotions we want to feel and create.
Okay. Thank you.
I had another thought for you. You're very welcome. And I'm excited for this. I don't know what it is. It'll come back to me later.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. I was like, Alicia, let's get it. Start with a win.
When I forgot. Isn't that funny how you put those in and you forget? Um, I took 2 weeks off at Christmas. I spent all of my time off, being off, and I was fully present with my family. So yeah, that's a big one. Just didn't even worry about work at all.
I love this. So proud of you. How can I start?
Yeah,
How
it
can
was
I help
nice.
you today? What?
So, that said, I did a launch at the end of the year. I did a webinar, was proud of how it went, was proud of my marketing and all of that. I feel like that all went well. I didn't get any consults even. So I have been in a, I mean, I've just spent the last year in a funk, so, been working myself out of that. But, and so I'm at the point where now I'm planning my year ahead and just looking to see what I really want to do. I haven't had a new client in ages, but honestly, I think it's probably, we've talked about this before too. I don't think I wanted any new clients really. I was just going through the motions. Feel very in line with everything Nadia said earlier in her coaching. I discovered, I still have some victimy thoughts and want to really, so in the process of planning my year, wanting that to be well thought out and intentional. As opposed to just like, oh, it's just happening, without out of control of it. So I have almost paid off my credit card. That's another win. So I'm
Awesome.
almost probably another month of being out of debt, which I had a lot of thoughts about coming out of, early enrollment in 200K, which I really had no business doing. But anyway, I'm almost out of that. And so I feel like when I get out of that, I'm going to feel glad and complete that that is done. Let's see, what else is going on?
I was like,
So I
give
did,
me some stuff to work on. I was like,
yeah,
tell me where you want to
yeah.
go.
I don't know. I don't know where I want to go. I really feel like with Nadia too, like there's just so many times when I don't want to deal with the marketing and stuff. And I keep thinking about when was it easy? When did it feel easy? I was doing the same things, but it just felt easy and fun. And now it feels heavy and complicated and serious. And I find that comes across in my marketing, like something I wrote even just the other day. I was like, I'm a Debbie Downer.
Totally been there.
Like, geez, Louise, what is wrong with me?
I think it might be some thoughts. Nothing has gone wrong, first
Oh,
off.
you think? Yeah,
I think it might be some thoughts. I think it might just be a couple of things that your brain has found evidence for and is just rolling with it. It's like if you don't, it's like sometimes like, and this is not a fear of thoughts or anything like that, but sometimes there might be one thought and it's like the like beginning of a snowball and then it just starts like rolling down that hill and just picking up steam. And I think that's what's happened. And so we just want to like, I just want to tell your snowball, hey, it's okay. And we're just going to pause the snowball right here. Build a snowman, move forward. So within you thinking about like, first off, there's just like a quick thing I want to offer to you. When I get out of that, I'll feel glad and complete with your credit card debt. Like just for anybody with money thoughts, if you got money thoughts, it's going to show up in you telling other people to work with you. Because if someone's like, I can throw this on a
yeah.
credit card and go into debt, you're like, debt is bad and this is not good. So just a heads up. It's like, why would you feel glad and complete when you are out of debt? What would your thoughts be about yourself?
Well, it's not, I don't have negative thoughts about debt and I don't have any problem putting stuff on a credit card. I think that particular, that, and I've gotten coaching on this before, that was a decision I made that didn't serve me well.
Well, and even just that, like that thought that there are decisions that can serve you well and that don't serve you well. It's sounding like when you're, and I don't necessarily like the word victimy because it sounds like negative, but I do think that like if we're like I'm going to use the exact word again, but like when we're using all of the diagrams today. I'm so excited, but it's like within this, when we're
Putting
thinking
that
about,
IP to work.
right, it's like this is so worth making um on Canva. But the other thing is like when we're thinking about like the it's just like you're in a little bit of triangle drama right now. It's like, oh, okay, I see that I'm here. I've made a lovely snowball from this. And then it's like from this place, we've got awareness, compassion, and we're going to choose to use this as a creator of a situation. Because it's something that can create it you, that you're creating for you. And so it's like this thought, like there are decisions that didn't serve me well. It's like, I want you to know that that's like a thought because if you're having the thought that like I can make good and bad decisions and they will create a negative result in my life, then I think it makes you hold back because it's like, what if it's the wrong decision for them? What if they like
Mm.
it's like in any event, whether you are like, I just think it always serves you to feel like I made the best decision that I could in that
Yeah.
moment. It was the
Yeah.
perfect decision for me, and I learned so much from it, and I'm moving forward, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, what
Yeah.
would be a better thought instead of like, I made a decision, and you said it so, like, just like, it was just a fact. And I'm like, that's how we know it's like a thought that we want to examine. Like, I made a decision that didn't serve me well. What's a more empowering way to phrase that?
I learned a lot from that decision.
A lot from that decision, and I'm a better
Yeah.
CEO because of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
And it's like, even if
That's
it's just
true.
like learning how to invest wisely, like it's like I just want you to have like that thought about like every decision I make, I learn from it and I grow from it. And it's like, and that was worth the investment in of itself. So just
Mhm.
a
Yeah, that's
well
true.
thing I want to just point out there. And then I want to come to I think that just the way that you said this sounded very sad. It's like it just sounds like a very like you know what I mean? I'm like I'm just sad. I'm like it's like you're like it feels heavy, complicated, serious. I'm like the way that you are portraying you right now. I'm like also feels heavy, complicated, and serious. There's probably a
I'm
thought there,
sad. I'm so sad.
and it's okay to be sad. I was like it's totally fine, but I just want to like a reminder for everyone. I was talking with another client this morning, and the way like she was like she said this it was like again it was just like reporting the news and she was like obviously it is a very dreary day and like it was like about one of her friends. She's like she's a single mother and she has a newborn and a 5-year-old and it's horrible and she's working and I was like probably not going to help her from that place. So I'm like, if we're thinking about that, I was like, and then if we're thinking about you, it's like I haven't had a client in ages. I'm just going through the motions. I can't remember when I was proud of my marketing and when did it feel easy and fun. It's like, okay, maybe that's true. But what are things that are also true that feel a lot better than this story?
You know what? I wonder, this isn't to answer your question, it's just a thought that came up. But
Mhm.
you know, if I follow too many people, you know, like and I hear all of these things about marketing this and marketing that and posting this way and reeling that way and like, oh, maybe that's just what makes me feel like pressure because I'm not doing it all the ways. Maybe I
Mm.
need to just unfollow all that stuff and just go back to whatever it was I was doing in the beginning.
Yes. Okay, and do what I was doing at the beginning. And like
Yeah.
it's like when we're thinking about this,
Like I didn't,
I was like, where is it? I was like, this is where we get to like we just built awareness for that's going on. And you questioned where it came from and you came up with an answer from following lots of people. And we want to choose different circumstances and we can choose different thoughts. So the circumstance that you're choosing is like, I'm gonna unfollow stuff and do what I was doing at the beginning. Kind of like circumstance action line. But for the entire existence of your business and going forward, there are going to be a ton of people that are going to be giving you messaging. They're going to be saying all these things. They're going to be like doing things. But I want you to think about like a thought that instead of being like, I'm not doing it all the way / the right way, it's like that's a thought that I think that if you having the thought like I'm not doing it all the way or a right way, how you do one thing is how you do everything, and that's going to show up in your business and life as well. So it's like I choose to make my way the right way always, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
That's the thought I have. I was like, is there a thought that comes up for you?
I like that one actually.
Yeah. Like right and
Because
wrong.
that just go ahead.
Well, it's like coming back to what I was saying about I think it was Harmony, but it's like, it was with Nadia as well. It's like with time, it's like what's right and what's wrong to build your business is 100% arbitrary. We just get to like it's like a war like and our brain is looking for the right ways because there was a right way in school and a right way for any other career. So it makes sense. We can be like, oh, I'm compassionately understanding that like my brain is gonna default that there's a right way. And as of January, I was like, what month is it? January 9th, that I now know what day it is. As of January 9th, I'm choosing to believe that my way is always the right way. And that just that thought in of itself is going to help you get from victim to like I create my own results. I yeah, it's like even though I created, and this is something I was going to mention to you, Demetria, as well, is like going through proud of your marketing. It's like creating a webinar, creating a launch that you've never done before. It's like this is an intangible result that was worth not getting any clients. I'm so glad I went through this so that because now I'm even though I didn't get a check in my account, I got better at my marketing. I learned how to launch and I did a badass webinar that I'm really proud of. That's going to be intellectual property for years to come.
Yes. Yes.
So
I mean, I agree with that.
from here, it's like I want to think about like
Sorry, everything's dying. I'm just looking for
oh
cords.
no, don't die. I was like, well, also if it dies and if anyone has to leave, I love you dearly and I will see you next week. For sure. But yeah, plug in the things and then we'll get into it. I've got lots of thoughts for you. And I keep thinking there's one
Can I
thing I
sneak
can.
behind you guys? Is there? Oh, there's not an extra one, is there? Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, okay, awesome.
So one of the things that I want to share with you guys is that within another thing is like when we're thinking about people who have different audiences and things like this is what I was going to tell you, Demetria, completely unrelated. So Alicia, feel free to keep scrolling it in. But something is like we don't know why we have the circumstances that we do. We can only work with the hand that we're dealt. And when I first started my business, I had no one in my audience. I had like literally like nobody who was a friend of mine had a service-based business that I knew of. Like it was like completely from scratch, just from people I had known in my lifetime. So one of the things that like and the thing that made me think about it this morning is like another one of my clients who is like incredible. Her name's Barbara. If you guys have anyone who is a child of an aging parent that needs a coach, she's phenomenal. And she is a psychiatrist and she has all these friends that work for nursing homes. They have all these connections and we just figured out that like just one person in her network has 2,000 different patients and all 2,000 of them have a next of kin that she's now like as of yesterday she's like learning how to contact all 2,000 of them. She literally has like just nothing to a 2,000 hot audience immediately. So one of the things that like I like to think about, like I'm like, man, that would be great. But it's like I think that we're given a gift of getting like a little bit like resourceful and like learning how to communicate with like other people in a respectful and thoughtful way. And it's like a gift instead of a detriment. That's another thought that I had for you. It's like, oh, it's like because I got really scrappy, it's like I learned how to talk to people. I had to learn how to network, and now I'm teaching people who maybe weren't as great at networking and outreach and things like that. I'm now teaching them because now their business is capped because they're not doing it. I'm like, oh, cool. So really awesome. Completely unrelated. Alicia, I sorry I muted you for a second, but I want to hear what kind of, now that you're feeling like, okay, I can see that there could be a shift. What are your goals for this year?
I mean, I think my goals are, I have I wanted to say, I have a modest financial goal.
I have a
Um,
modest, yeah, go ahead. What is your modest financial goal?
Here's the thing. I would like to be able to do whatever I do and not get back to that overwhelmed stuff. Like I'm still I'm mm, I'm trying to have a business on my own terms that feels controlled and balanced. That's really my goal. And if I can do, I just did my expenses, so my minimum viable um income that I absolutely have to do is like 5 grand, 6 grand. Um,
Which I think you're saying it in a way that like I think some people would say it in a very different way. So I just want to offer like money is literally just thoughts because I don't think you're having great thoughts about it. Because if I was like, all I have to do is earn 5K, I thank God. I was like, this is the best news ever. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
yeah, no, I agree. Like that brought about a certain amount of relief. Like, okay, like, okay, so then I can make 80K and do, 100K and do whatever I want. And that's easy, but I want to do that in a way that's sustainable and like I said, controlled, intentional on my own terms.
Okay. So if that is the goal, when we think about the way that the no consults showed up and the webinar and like not having new client in ages, it's like, what are you currently thinking about that's limiting you and putting you in the victim mindset that you mentioned at the very beginning of us working together? And if it shifted, then let me know. But like, what was that?
Um,
Uh, did you hold on? I think you might have froze for a second. Oh no, you're
oh
just
no,
really
I'm
pensive. I was like, I love that. It was like you were just so in it. And I was like, oh man, we lost her. I was like, the computer died. I was like, no.
Well, it's that whole the victimy part is the whole, when reflecting back on the past year, that it was mostly unplanned. I wasn't in control. Um, Flying by the seat of my pants, that kind of stuff. I noticed that comes up for me. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Okay.
I think I recognize it and I see it and it's like, okay, yeah, that doesn't have to be true. That's
Literally, that doesn't have to be true. It's like when we're thinking about like 2023, it's like, what do you want to think about 2023 instead of, because it's like when you think about 2023, and it's like, if anybody, it's like if you had, like the way I like to think about it is like we have an expectation. So I think your brain had an expectation that 2023 was going to be planned. You were going to be in total control and you were not going to fly by the seat of your pants and be super organized. And that was just a missed expectation for like, we thought that it was going to be like this and it was not. And so it's like, but we don't have to think that it was a terrible thing, that it was unplanned, like didn't feel in control and flying by the seat of your pants. What do you want? Because if you think that, woo, sorry, I got passionate. I was like, my whole mic just went flying. But I'm like, if you're thinking about that, like, how does it feel thinking about like 2023? That feels horrible, like sad.
I mean, that's kind of how I feel about it. So there you
Yeah.
go. So that's why I
So-
want 2024 to be different.
And
I
I
don't
think that
feel-
your
I don't
brain,
need, go ahead.
it's just like, I think that like, you're like, it's like if you were like, I just want to do whatever I do and not get back to the overwhelmed stuff. And I think that you think that if you have a different goal, lower goal, or like the goal, the business is responsible for the feeling of
Mm,
overwhelm versus
yes, I can see
like,
that.
you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to get back to the overwhelmed stuff versus like, it's like I unintentionally created the feeling of overwhelm, no harm, no foul. And now I want to choose a different emotion because we don't want to like blame your business or it's like for a feeling. It's like saying that coming back to like the you being back in control. It's like if you want to have a controlled and balanced business in an easy, sustainable business, these are just thoughts that you could have about your business right now. Nothing changing.
Mm. Mhm.
I don't know if they're accessible right now, but that is okay.
Yes.
What if I said that like the feeling of ease, control, sustainable are like all feelings that you can create with your thoughts?
Say you are a liar.
Right? Isn't that rude of me? I'm so sorry. It's like, but like when we think about that, it's like it first you're like, fuck, but then you're like, wait, but that actually feels better than like not being able to be in like for me, I when I first found coaching, I literally was like, you mean to say the shitstorm of my life I have been a part of? Like that it has happened to me. I was like, it is not me. It is the shit that I've been through in my past. It just doesn't feel great because then you're always out of control. It's like it never feels I don't know what not underwhelming, but like what would be the opposite? Like stable? You said sustainable? Like it's like because you're always thinking that sustainable ease control is a cause
It
that feeling is caused
is,
by the
Evan,
circumstance.
Megan.
Wouldn't that
It
be so?
is.
I was like, because then
Those
if
are
you just
facts. Those
because
those are,
right, it's like just a
those are
fact, and it's like
objective truths.
if you just it's like if I like, but I guarantee that you could hit 5K and still feel overwhelmed, sad, out of control, unplanned, and you could hit 5,000K or 500,000K and still feel out of control based on what you're thinking. Some person in this world might, and maybe people in this room might be delighted at the results of 2023 as far as finances go and have completely different thoughts about it. Even if they get 0 consults at the end of the year, they're like, it was a bonus anyways. I killed it. I feel so at ease and control, and I feel like this is totally sustainable. Look at my huge Facebook group. Look at this. I am loving this, and I can't wait for 2024 to do even more or something different.
Why do I feel so shitty about it?
Because your thoughts. So I'd love to know what they are. It's like, and it's like,
No.
so it's like, that's okay. It's like, and the reason why you haven't caught it yet is because even if you were the best coach in the entire world, you can't see your own brain. Like that's why we hire coaches. Like, so there is no way that you could have now you can start to, it's like co-regulation versus self-regulation. Right now I'm helping you co-regulate and bring you back to a less activated state. But within yourself, you can start to be like, I'm feeling like really shitty right now. How much did you make in 2023?
80K.
Okay. If there are people in this room that would hear that you made 80K and be shocked that you have these thoughts right now. And it's literally because they would be thinking something completely different about that same circumstance. Why does 80K, like even if it was, let's say it was a little maybe not as planned as you wanted it to be, in control, flying by the seat of your pants, that still might be a celebration for some. And I want to let you know that you can be one of the some.
Yeah, no, I mean, there are definitely things to celebrate about it. I did, I did 100K the year previously and was in complete burnout. So making 80K and not getting any new clients in the last probably 4 months and still made 80K based primarily on renewals and, you know, and I didn't kill myself and I didn't, I was making dinner. We weren't eating out every night again. And, like I had reclaimed some of the other things that were important to me and were some of my other values were in regards to my family. So yeah, no, there's a lot to celebrate about it.
And so for you, you know what I think is happening? I just realized, I think that you just have, now this is what happens if we don't catch a snowball thought. I think that this is a thought that's from 2022 that might have carried into 2023. It's like if you were in complete burnout before, I think in 2022, if you were like, if you had thoughts that in 2022 you were unplanned, out of control, flying by the seat of your pants, I think they might have just continued. Versus clearly, if you had renewals, it's sounding like you're in control. It's sounding like if you made 80K without any new clients, that sounds like ease to me. And
Mhm.
something that's sustainable sounds like not like I was able to actually eat dinner every night. What if these are actually circumstances that we can use to like give you different thoughts that can create the feeling of control? Because I think that what I'm just noticing for you is I think this is just like an unintentional thought that you've just had about your business. Like, business is hard.
Mhm.
I'm always out of control. It's always like flying by the seat of my pants. Whereas I think that you're not flying as much by the seat of your pants as you were in 2022. I think that you were in way more control than 2022. And I think you were way more planned than 2022.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true, whether consciously or unconsciously, limiting growth because there was so much unbridled growth in 2022. I mean, I went from 40K in 21 to 100K in 22, and that
Mhm.
was just phenomenal growth that I wasn't ready for, I guess.
Which
And so
everyone on this call is losing. I have a feeling that people would be like, if I went from 40K to 100K, that the fact that I would not be ready for that, that's
it sounds
crazy.
great.
It does sound great. I
It
know the feeling.
sounds
I was
great.
like, I had a internal growth year as well. And it's like, it's just fascinating because I'm like, exactly the same thing happened. I was like, and I learned how to course correct this year. And I'm like, it was like, and
Yeah.
that's phenomenal growth in and of itself. Like, you see how you said like it's phenomenal growth to go from 40 to 100, but what if it's phenomenal growth to like learn how to have, what if you have right now, you have an easy, sustainable, in control business that you're just taking to the next level, and you're going to become even more in
Mhm.
control, even more planned, and even more, again, whatever the opposite of flying by the seat of your pants is. Like, I don't know what the opposite of that would be.
Intentional.
Awesome. Okay, so we have, so what if
Yeah,
23 was
intentionally
planned,
taking to the next level.
draw,
Yeah,
and
I like that.
intentional?
Yeah.
And we're going to make 2024 even more. That's going from bad to the thought, like it's like it was bad and now I need to go to from bad to good to things are really good this year. Like, I am so proud of that. Like, fuck yeah. And then I'm going to make it even better next year.
Yes. No, I can see that. Like that feels lighter and better and yes.
Less sad.
Less sad.
Less sad. I was like, because I have a feel, I could bet money that I think that there are people in the world that think if you made 80K, there's no way you could be sad about that ever. There's no way. It's like there's no way a human being could feel sad about that amount of money. And guess what? It's because we have a human brain at 80K, 800K, 8 million. It's like we
Yeah, and I
always
think I think some of that goes back to the debt thing. So, you know, if we, that's just revenue. If we're talking about profit, it's, you know, a different story from last year, but that's, I don't want to
Okay,
rain
so
on the
that's
parade.
it's like, but your brain is, so let's just let it brain for another second. It's like my business wasn't profitable.
Mm,
Was it, did you actually go to the red? Or did
I don't
you?
think I'm in the, I don't think I'm in the red for 2023, but I don't think there was much profit.
Not much. Okay, so that's where your brain's like, wah wah, Eeyore, all
Mhm.
over the 80K parade. And so it's like, we can choose to think that the profit wasn't much, or we can choose to like much. Do you see how like your brain is choosing a completely subjective term? Like, wasn't much. It's like, who's to say? Like, how much was much?
Yeah, well, let's just look at I'm right here. Let me look at let me
Yeah,
pull
pull
up
up
the
your
facts.
P&L. I'm gonna do training about
Um,
P&L too. Like Nadia, I promise the Google Drive and then the Google Classroom and I need to do one about the P&L. Then I've got like a brain again, which is nice.
So I think, so my net income was like $10,000.
But it's fascinating that your brain is like, all I needed to do is 5.
Mm,
So your brain, like, even though it was 10,
mhm,
you doubled
mhm.
the minimum viable income that you needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's good.
What's good? What are
That's
your
good.
thoughts about it and how?
Well, my thoughts are that I wasn't irresponsible.
Because that's what
And
happened from the debt.
I didn't know that was under there, but yes, yes, yeah.
Yes. It's like, so how does it feel now? And that's where I think the debt thing came. That's why I was like, we're just gonna pivot. I was like, I know you didn't want coaching on this, but I feel like this is something. I think you've thought that you were irresponsible in 2023. You're like, I shouldn't have done
Yeah,
pre-enrollment.
yeah, yeah. Well, now it feels like I'm not a total fuck up. Like I can, like I can actually go into 24 and be like, okay, yeah, I run a business. You know, this was what last year looked like. I can be objective about that. And now what do I want the next year to look like? And how do I go about doing that without the mind drama of it? Just, yeah, no, that feels good.
And I like, even if, let's say you were in the red, right?
Mm-hmm.
The normal in the red, like red meat. So, okay, just a quick lesson about finances. Revenue, because I learned this from you guys. Do you remember this? I was like, revenue is how much money you brought in, expenses. That probably isn't right. It's okay. Equals profit. So, no one is ever going to see your P&L ever to be like, oh, oh, she didn't make enough profit. That is not a good person to run a business. They will never see that. But it's like our brains make it mean so much about us. Fun fact, you are supposed to, so if your profit is negative, let's say you made 5K and you spend 25K. So let's say you're negative 20K in the bank. I'm just going to give that as an example. So let's say you brought in 5, you spent 20, your profit would be or let's spend 25, your profit would be negative 20. So that would be what's called in the red. And there is no there's no business police that was like, even if you spent like I don't know what the amount is, but there's no one that's going to come in and be like, you didn't make enough, we're going to shut you down. Like, you are running a business that helps the economy. I think any country that any of us are all in is supporting that. And most businesses do not become positive in the profit area. Positive profit equals in the black. I'm pretty sure I'm getting this right. If someone's like, it's the opposite, but whatever. It's like, if you're in the black, then that means you're a good business owner. You run a good business. It's like, no one is going to be like, you're a better business owner, you're a worse business owner, regardless. And most people aren't in there until year 5 to actually to 10 of business. So imagine that you are a business owner and for the first 10 years of your business, you are negative every single year. Would you think that that's irresponsible?
I mean, I realize that that's the way most businesses run. That's the
Most,
average. Yeah.
most businesses. Yep. Or would you be like, I'm so glad they're investing in things before they become, it's like, I'm so glad they're investing in things to get them into that profit.
hmm Yeah, my husband had a business. It's been 5 years. He's just now breaking even. It's like, let's get out while we can.
Oh my God. That's okay. So that's actually what happened with my dad's business as well. They literally like, I think I don't even know if they broke even, but they sold it. They're like, fuck this. They're like, this is the woat. So a lot of people don't even they don't they
Continue.
don't
Yeah, they
see it
don't.
all the way through, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But it's like I want to in my lifetime be the kind of person that sees this all the way through until I decide I don't want to anymore. It's like,
Right.
but I really want to give this contribution to the world. It's like regardless of what the like it's like
Yeah.
and again to come back to like that like oh I'm the creator of my destiny whatever you want to say contribution but don't I was like if we think about like I think it was like who was saying that like yeah I was like Nadia I'm harping on you today it was like I really want this like I really it's like do you really want this coaching business for good, for bad. It's like whatever I literally did a wedding. Like I like ran a wedding. I don't know. I forget what it's even called. But it's like for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer. It's like, are you in it? Even when sometimes you feel unplanned and in control, out of control, flying by the seat of your pants, are you still here? Even if it doesn't always feel great. And what if it only feels great like 50% of the time? Would you still be here for it?
Yeah, I have to make that commitment, right? Taking those vows, exactly. Because I mean, literally this week I've entertained thoughts of going back to my old job.
I know. I could tell. I could tell. I was like, I could, don't know why, because I've been there. I was like looking at, I was like, join our elementary school. Are you looking to hire? I was like, who knows? It's like, so normal. We are normalizing the wanting to go back and just
Okay.
to bring it back to like, you know what? It's like, I kind of don't want to right now. If you decide that you want to go back and go to your other job, it means absolutely nothing about you. Nothing has gone wrong at all. You are an incredible human, regardless of whether or not you decide to take this business to whatever place you want to. And that is enough. You are enough right now. 80, 10K, negative 50K, 80K, no matter what, you've done enough. What you've created is incredible. Would you like to continue?
Yeah, I think I do. And I think I just realized that which I didn't realize that I was I think have some thoughts about what my business performance means about me.
Of course, we all do. I was like, so no, again, no shame in that game at all. Like it is human to look for a marker for your um means about me. It's like all human brains are looking to categorize, am I enough? Am I not enough? It's looking to put judgment because that's how we have like literally created the world. So, of course your brain is looking to judge, am I a worthy human? Am I a good person if I hit a certain number? And it's like, and I want to take it back to like, it's normal. And is that how we want to continue to show up? Like, it'd be
Yeah.
like if someone comes to you and they're like, I couldn't hike Everest. So I'm obviously, what did you say? A complete fuck up? A total fuck up. It's like, so obviously I'm a total fuck up. It's like, well, that's a choice. I was like, well, we don't have to think that. What do you
Yeah.
want to make your business performance mean about you? And I would be like, you know, the song like War? It's like, absolutely nothing is what I would offer.
Yeah, I mean, that's what comes to mind, like nothing. Like if it were one of my kids, I would be like, so what?
Yeah,
You
because
know, don't
because
throw
it's
yourself
not
off the
you.
building because you didn't make a profit last year. So what?
And you actually even did. So it's like not even
Yeah.
true. It's like so it's like your brain is just braining. Be like, thank you, brain, for braining.
But when I'm doing stuff like Nadia talked about, it does feel very much like it does feel very much like it is me because, you know, I'm not doing the thing. So
Okay, so let's think about like what things do you want to do?
does that make
What
sense? Does Nadia,
it
that make
totally
sense
makes
to
sense.
you?
100%. I think we're both following. So if we're thinking, what do you want to as you build this business? Instead of making it mean something about you, what do you want to make it mean about yourself? What do you want to think about yourself every day that you go to do outreach, every day that you go to market? Like, I'm fucking proud of myself for doing this. Like, this might not be my best post in the world, but I'm proud of myself for putting it out there. Most people never do this in their lifetime. Proud of myself for going out and doing it. Those are
Yeah.
some of the thoughts
I
I
mean,
have.
that's, mhm.
What do you want to have about yourself?
I'm gonna help people regardless, so I might as well do, do it this way.
Yes. Might as well do it in a way that feels better. How does that feel?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm gonna, you know, I'm either gonna be getting little old ladies out of bed just because that's just my nature. Like I have to, you know, I'm gonna be helping people one way or another. So might as well do it this way. This is the way that I like to do it.
How does that feel? Instead of victimy.
You know, that feels purposeful.
Oh, I love that word. And what would you want to do from a purposeful place just this week in your business? And then we can check back in next week if you're around.
Finish my yearly planning. I think I would really like to do that. So I'm in the process of just really looking at the year as a whole. And then, go revisiting my pillars and looking at how do I move forward marketing from that place.
Proud of you, lady. Having
Thank you.
going through the work of launching and having no consults, I did that with webinars like 6 times and I had like 1 to 2 people showing up and it is hard. I was like that was one
Yeah.
of the hardest parts of my business. I'll be honest. Like I marketed one for like 6 weeks and it was like it was really tricky. But your future self is going to thank you for not
Yeah.
giving up right now.
Well,
I'm
I already put out there yesterday in the email, like I'll be doing a webinar at the end of the month. So
Let's
watch for this,
go.
watch for the sign up form.
Watch for the
Yes.
form. Oh, I love you, lady.
So I've already
Keep it
put
up,
myself out there.
and I'm proud of
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. That was super helpful. I really appreciate it.
course.
I don't feel sad anymore. I didn't know I
Amazing.
felt
You
sad
can
to
feel
begin
sad.
with.
There's nothing wrong with it, but I don't know if we want to build our business from that. But I love you, and I cannot wait to see you all next week. Okay.
Thank you. And thanks,
Bye,
Nadia, for
everybody.
your coaching. That was super helpful. I appreciate it.
I love you
Thanks.
guys.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you.